السلام عليكم. This is me Razas, Dr. Razas Taha. We will talk today about the third lecture of plastic packaging material. Today we will talk about the first material, which is plastic packaging material. The objectives of our lecture is to have an idea about the types, uses, and manufacturing method of plastic used in pharmaceutical packaging, to understand the possible problems related to plastic such as container-drug interaction and how to manage that problems. Our context of the lecture, we will talk about definitions and characterization of plastic, types of plastics, plastics used for packaging, constituents in plastic, residues in plastics, plastics used for pharmaceutical packaging, and plastic closures. Of all packaging material, plastics are the most versatile because of their sheer variety and are now used for many different types of bags. عندنا different types of material used for packaging, لكن البلاستيك are the most versatile because due to their sheer variety and are now used for many different types of packaging. For example of plastic containers, السوليد بوتل for التابلت and capsule اللي هي الريجيد بوتل، squeezable bottle for eye drops and nasal spray اللي هي اللي بتستعمل القطرات، الحاجة اللي بتضغط كده حقة eye drops to deliver الدوز، jars, flexible tubes, sockets, strip bag and blister bag. So, definition of plastic may be defined as any group of substance of natural or synthetic origins consisting chiefly of polymers of high molecular weight that can be molded into a shape or form by heat and pressure. يبقى يا جماعة هو a substance containing number of polymers. الميزة حقتها have a high molecular weight and can be molded into shape، يعني flexible في processing وبقدر أشكلها بأي شكل أنا عايزاه by heat and pressure، بس just إنه to use heat to facilitate processing of plastic and pressure. Characteristics of plastic. Plastic is a light, moldable material which is usually very resistant to break. Like rubbers, plastics are complex materials which may have many constituents. يبقى أهم ميزة فيه إنه هو light، تاني حاجة resistant to break، وعنده have many constituents. نشوفها. Apart from the actual polymer include residues from original synthesis of the polymer, for example monomer residue, catalysts, accelerators and solvents. Component number 2, additives intended to modify the properties of the polymer. The nature of additives is often dependent on polymer composition, method of manufacture of a plastic material. For example, additives, plasticizers, antioxidant, antistatic agent, color and whitener, filter and opacifier or UV blocker. زي ما عندنا يا جماعة في الفارماسيوتيكال برودكتس أو الأدوية حقتنا عندنا active ingredient وعندنا الاكسيبينت. ال هنا البلاستيك بروسيسنج نفس الحاجة، الكومبوننت حقته فيها المادة الأساسية للبلاستيك اللي هي البوليمرز. الاديتيفز حقتها ممكن يكون فيها بلاستيسايزر، انتي اوكسيدنت، انتي ستاتيك. المهم كلها مواد يوز تو فاسيليتيت يا اما الشغل ديورينج البروسيسنج بتاع البلاستيك حقه، ولا بعدين بعد ما تتشكل وتطلع ويتعبى فيها برودكت، الحاجات اللي بتساعدنا لقدام تو سيف الاستابيليتي ولا اي بروبرتيز بتاعت البلاستيك بستفيد منها ديورينج الاستخدام. Constituent الثالث agent to aid some part of processing a lubricant and mold release agents. Method of synthesis في injection molding, blow molding, extrusion or lamination. So why when we using plastic as a container for packaging material for pharmaceutical, no component criteria to be taken in consideration. No component of a plastic should be capable of extraction into the contents of the container, nor should any of the content be absorbed onto the surface of a plastic or absorbed into the polymer matrix. These requirements are difficult to achieve. إنه معناها يا جماعة لا في مادة من البلاستيك كونتينر should be absorbed في البرودكت، ولا مادة من البرودكت should be absorbed في البلاستيك سيرفيس. دي أهم حاجة وأصعب حاجة، ما سهل عشان نتحصل على الخاصية دي في البروسيسنج بتاع البلاستيك كونتينر. Care should be taken when specifying the plastic for the bag and full testing of extractable should be carried out. Advantages and disadvantages of plastics. Advantages: there are thermoplastic, so withstand repeated heat, is stable في types of plastic which is stable في presence of a high temperature, resistant to breakage, cheap to produce, and provide necessary protection of the product in an attractive container, provide a light bright plastic are chosen. A disadvantage: potentially extractable, drawback problem, permeability. Nearly all plastics are permeable to some degree depending on the storage condition, nature of the bag, and nature of the product. Absorption or adsorption of drug formulation components to the polymer layer. There are many factors that affect this. Chemical structure, pH, concentration of ingredients, area of contact with time of contact, temperature, composition of solvent system. For example, antimicrobial preservatives present في formulation in low concentration may be effectively lost from the solution by adsorption into plastic in sufficient concentration to render the product insufficiently protected against microbial growth. أنا هكون متأكد إني أنا أضفت preservative أو microbial preservative للبرودكت حقي القاعد جوا البلاستيك كونتينر. لكن بعد فترة من الزمن جيت اكتشفت انه في مايكروبيال جروث حاصل. طيب ليه البريزرفاتيف ما شغال؟ هل انا فعلا نسيته؟ لا، ما نسيته، انت خديته، لكن حصل له ادزوربشن جوا البلاستيك سيرفيس بتاعه الكونتينر اللي انت عملت به باك للبرودكت حقك. common problems associated with plastic container. Permeation. Relative permeability of CO2, O2 and N2 is approximately 20 to 4 to 1. Moisture may also pass out of the bag containing an aqueous formulation. This will alter the strength of the product. Other material which can migrate out of product include active ingredients, antioxidants, preservatives, fragrances and flavors. Hydrophobic plastic may encourage permeation of the oily phase from some emulsions and creams. الهيدروفوبيك بلاستيك هو التايب of plastic which like المويشر أو الووتر absorption. Problem with a specific type of plastic. Polyethylene is prone to stress cracking in presence of surfactant or vegetable or mineral oil. Chemicals like isopropyl myristate, common component of skincare creams, produce creasing fine network of a surface crack في البوليسترين followed by weakening the eventually collapse of a container. هتعمل طبقة أو wall على السيرفيس which may be lead to collapse of a container مع مرور الزمن. Rigid polystyrene and PVC have poor impact resistance, which can be improved by adding an elastomers to the plastic, although there is an associated increase في البوليمر's permeability. Polyethylene and polypropylene are difficult to print to directly, if not they have a service pre-treatment as ink does not or take hold. يبقى يا جماعة البروبلم دي مع pre-treatment بتتظبط. Poor inking can also occur when substance migrate to the surface of plastic. نيجي ليه types of plastic. Thermoplastic polymers. There are heat softening material which can be repeatedly heated, made mobile, and then reset to a solid state by cooling. يعني يا جماعة بتبقى very soft when exposure to heat، يبقى بتتسخن عشان تبقى لينة وتفاسيليتيت البروسيسنج عليها وتتشكل بالطريقة اللي احنا عايزينها. بعد ذاك reset to a solid by cooling. Under conditions of fabrication they can be molded by temperature and pressure. For example, polyethylene, PVC, polystyrene, polypropylene, nylon and polyesters. Thermosetting polymers. There are polymers produced by polymerization process involving curing stage during which the material becomes set to a permanent state by heat and pressure. دي يا جماعة ما بترجع تتغير، هي بتحصل مرحلة البيرمننت ستيت باي الهيت والبريشر، تكون ثابتة يعني. further heating lead to decomposition of البلاستيك. لو حاولت أنا overheated أسخن extra heating أزيد التمبريتشر will lead to decomposition of البلاستيك. For example phenolics, melamine, urea, alkyds, exposed, epoxides, certain polystyrene and polyurethane cross-link polymers. Plastic used for packaging. أول واحد high density polyethylene. It's characteristic by low cost, moderately flexible, stiffer or stronger, and has better barrier properties, chemical resistance, poor clarity, transparent in natural state, and can be tinned or colored with any opaque color. Odorless and tasteless. Advantage: low cost, good moisture barrier, not attacked by most solvent. Disadvantage: poor barrier for oxygen and other gases. Odor and flavors are sometimes lost. Perfume or flavoring oil can transfer rapidly. Stress crack in the presence of some product. Application of a high density for thin wall blow molded container, for induction molding and closure, rotational molding for large containers such as carboys, in industrial and consumer bags and thermoform trays. النوع الثاني low density polyethylene. It's characterized by odorless, tasteless, easily blended with such copolymers, high resistant to most solvent, poor barrier for gases, softening temperature is around 210 Fahrenheit, easily pigmented, good transparent, translucent, and waxy in thick-walled container. Its advantage is flexible, moisture barrier, tough, chemical resistant, lightweight, low cost, and heat sealable. Its disadvantage characterized by not practical for rigid container and flexible package, problem in flavor and odor, stress cracking, not recommended for an oily product. It's applied for use in squeezable tubes and bottles, rapid wrappers and bags for different products, thermoformed into tray, frozen food container, coating material for bottle carton, meat wrapper, and used for milk containers. Linear low density polyethylene, characterized by low cost, lightweight, superior toughness, rigid, flexible, moisture barrier, chemical and stress crack resistant. Advantage: good tensile strength, puncture resistance. البنكشر هنا بمعنى زي ثقوب. good impact and tear properties, stress cracking and warding resistant. It's applied for large size bagging and wrapping operation. البوليإيثايلين characterized by heat and chemical resistant, tough and rigid, resist oil and greases, stress crack resistant, fairly good barrier to moisture and gases, high melting point. Polyvinyl chloride (PVC). This is a famous type of plastic used for pharmaceutical production. Characteristics: crystal clear, low in impact strength, tough and has good puncture resistance, good barrier properties for all moisture and gases, retains odor and flavors. Its advantage: relative inexpensive, tough, clear. Disadvantage: corrosive when overheated, yellow when exposed to heat or UV light, scratches easily seen لأنه هو very crystal ولا very clear في شكله. Applications: it's used for blister packaging for pharmaceutical and capsule في closes production, go for box and pallet load wrapping application. Number 6. Nylon. Characteristics: structurally strong, relative low moisture absorption, good dimensional stability and heat sealability. Its advantage are clear, good barrier properties to gases, excellent stability at both high and low temperature. Disadvantage: can be oxidized, causing nylon to lose strength. It's applicable for co-extruded with polyolefin to enhance packaging properties, and it's also used for coating on paper, board, papers and foils. Extrusion blow molded container for hard to hold chemicals. Number 7. Polyester polyethylene tetraphthalate. It's characterized by good in strength, toughness and clarity, resistant to weak acid, bases and most solvent, not good barrier for gases. Its advantage: polyester characterized by fairly stiff material, excellent transparency, excellent heat and low temperature and water resistance, excellent oil, chemical and solvent resistant. It's a good barrier to الأودر والفlavor. Disadvantage: poor seal property and high cost. Number 8 is a polystyrene type, characterized by crystal clear and very hard, brittle and rigid, low melting point, poor impact strength, not good barrier for moisture or gases, odorless and tasteless. Its advantage: clear and lightweight, low in cost, easily molded, thermoformed and extruded into film, accept printing, metallizing and hot stamping. يعني يا جماعة can be controlled, easily used، المولدنج بتاعه سهل تشكيله، بعد داك الثيرموفورم يعني can be controlled بالتمبريتشر، تسخن وبعدين يجي يتبرد بعد التشكيل and extruded into film accepted للprinting metallizing and hot stamping. A disadvantage slight tendency to shrink. Discolor in strong sunlight can crease and become cloudy, build up static change easily. It's applicable for a bottle for pharmaceutical tablet and capsules. Polycarbonate characterized by good clarity, impact strength, ductility and low controllable mold shrinking, sterilizable and tolerate gamma radiation, high priced material. Its advantage: great clarity, toughness and high softening temperature, dimensionally stable and processable, odorless and non-staining. Disadvantages: high cost, high permeation of moisture and gases, sensitive to oxygen and carbon dioxide. Constituents in plastic: plasticizers, filters, extender, lubricants, stabilizer, UV absorbers, slip additive, anti-slip additives, colorant, pigments and dyes, antioxidants, internal release agent, inhibitor for البكتيريا inhibition, toughening agents, impact modifier, flame retarding agent, opacifier and whitening agent. يا جماعة نمبر 1 لحد رقم 11 دي كلها الكونستيتيوينت اوف البلاستيك. Plasticizers improve the flow properties of material, increases softness and flexibility, and are found mainly in polyvinyl chloride, plasticide PVC and cellulosics. The most common PVC plasticizers are ophthalate esters, phosphate esters, sebacate, dipate esters and polymeric plasticizers. Filters: fillers is an inert solid substance, for example carbon black, chalk or calcium carbonate, china clay, silica and magnesium carbonate. The maximum limit of filter is up to 1:1 ratio, after which his binding power with the plastic is lost. Toughening agent, impact modifier. A few plastics which tend to be naturally brittle require an improvement in both their drop impact strength and their top loading strength. In case of polystyrene, rubber is widely used as impact modifier. Lubricants may be added either as an additive or at the fabrication stage as processing aid. In general, lubricants prevent adhesion with the metal part of the equipment used for the processing of the plastic itself. Lubricants may also improve the flow and thereby lower the temperature of a molding operation. For example, silicone polymethyl silicone may be used في low density propyl and high density propyl ethylene film to improve the flow. Lubricant may be solid such as waxes, stearates, or liquid such as liquid paraffin. Stabilizers increase the stability of plastic either during processing or during molded life of a material. Stabilizers are frequently used to combat the combined effect of heat and light. UV absorber. UV absorber may be used for two reasons. The first one is to protect the plastic from a UV degradation, and the second reason is to prevent the product degradation due to UV rays passing through البلاستيك. يعني to protect the plastic itself or to protect the product which is inside a plastic container. Chemically, UV absorber may be based on substituted phenol or benzophenols. Slip additives. Slip additives are widely used for film either made or used on relatively high-speed equipment where any non-slip or drag properties may be detrimental to output. The most used slip additives are oleamide and stearamide. Since they operate at the film surface, they can be physically removed by abrasion. Anti-slip additives, these were primarily developed to provide good bonding for pesticide load of plastic sacks and bags. Without the additive, plastic sacks would tend to distake and slide off when the plate is moved or jerked. Antioxidants used to prevent oxidative degradation of certain plastic. Polymers may be subject to various forms of oxidative attack during all stages of their life cycle. Colorants, dyes and pigments used to colorize a plastic container. Extenders, they are somewhat similar to fillers. They are used as lower cost substitute for plastic. An internal release agent, the agent are somewhat similar to lubricants in that they provide release particularly from metals زي الماود, zinc, calcium and magnesium stearate. Inhibitors used to prevent a microbial growth during a plastic container inside a plastic container. Residues in plastic. Catalysts, inhibitors, hardener, solvents, suspending agents, emulsifier, accelerator to accelerate a reaction, monomers and dispersing agents. Pharmaceutical used for plastic used for pharmaceutical packaging, a plastic container, plastic collapsible tubes, a plastic closure والبليستر ماتيريال البلاستيك بوتش. البلاستيك collapsible tubes its advantage characterized by has a low in cost, light in weight, durable, flexible, pleasant to touch, unbreakable, leak proof أو التسرب, odorless and inert to most chemicals, able to retain their shape throughout their use, uniquely suck back feature. And disadvantage permeation of gases. Plastic closure. The closure is an integral part of the bag, hence the word bag cover both the container and closure system. The bag is only as effective as closure employed, and successful marriage between the container and closure is essential to the product shelf life and its acceptance during use. These are plastic devices which are used to prevent the contents from escaping and allow no substance to enter the container. Blister bag, its advantage: excellent environmental protection, pleasing and effective appearance, user convenience, child resistance. Blister material: polyethylene, polystyrene, polypropylene, PVC, polyvinyl ethylene chloride, polychlorotrifluoroethylene. ده البليستر باك. البلاستيك defects. Class A defect: contain crack and breaks anywhere in a container, any spot at heel or shoulder of the container, rough cutoff at finish leading to leaky closure, weld lines that permit stress cracking in contact with the product. Class B defect: characterized by below minimum weight, any dimension outside of limits, uneven color, rough or orange peel surface. Class C defect: blotchy or incomplete printing, streaky pigmentation, plastic trim in boxes delivered with closure, improper identification of cases. We have 3 evaluation area for evaluating البلاستيك في الفيزيكال والchemical والbiological area to evaluate البلاستيك. Thank you.